So let's talk about the city of Philadelphia. It's a bad city, I would say. I would also say that it's probably bad if you're a black person, and not less, and not much like for a white person. I feel like there's this idea that suddenly everyone's in danger all the time, and that's just, I don't think that that's true. Now maybe it is, and I'm fucking retarded, but I don't think that that's true. I think instead there is more, you have more to fear being somebody who's colored than you do someone who's Caucasian. Especially being like a male, and just walking around, whether it be in like a weird, shitty part of the city or just the city in general. And a side note, I find it funny that people in my program or just in general say, I live outside the city, I have to drive an hour into blah blah blah, and they make it sound like it's a big deal, and I'm just like, that's, you're so fucking lucky. You have no fucking idea how lucky you are to be able to have to drive into work. Yes, driving sucks and it's stupid, but I find that to be like really annoying. To like sit there and act as though like you're so oblivious to the problem of like what's actually happening and like what is actually going on, that it's like you, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the whole conversation of black on black violence, and like the most progressive people don't want to talk about it, and the most right wing people do, but they talk about it in the most racist way possible, and the left wing people just like, I don't know what the fuck they do. And I'm just sitting here like, I think both sides have things to acknowledge of the other side, but they just don't want to do it. Yes, black people are mean to other black people, and black on black violence, I would say, is a problem, especially in inner cities. As somebody who had to see or witnessed my first time, someone get shot over the summer, seemingly over, I don't even know what. That happened very quickly, and it was just like, this is, what the fuck, retarded and ridiculous. And then just like after that, the heightened sense of like what is happening in the city, like like I wasn't like ignoring it, like I knew, okay, so here's what I'll actually say. I've heard stories, and I was told by at least one person to be like, watch out when you move there. Actually, I was told by two people, but one person made it more evident than the other person. The white person made it more evident to be like, oh, watch out. And like, she told the story of how her son, I guess, lives here and like, or did something here, I don't know. And like, she came to visit her son, and then her son was like, I'll come out to you, in terms of like coming to the car to wherever the fuck her son was. And I was like, oh wow, that's wild. And then like 2 weeks later, another person who was from this area was like, well, maybe not this area, but just Philadelphia in general, was talking about how, like, actually they weren't saying anything, they were just said, stay safe, I think, or whatever, like, look out, stay safe, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So that's like two people. And then I get here, and then I have to do this thing for like, I don't know, it's like for racism or something. And it was like, it was talking about, there was a section about the people who lived here, and like, I remember the guy talking about how, oh, they're not going to bother you, they're just essentially down on their luck or whatever. And like, a lot of people are, for sure, but I think there are a lot of things that are just not, that does not, reality does not match that description. I don't think that there are a lot of people just down on their luck. I think there are a lot of people who would take advantage of other people in any given situation, whether it be asking you for money, or it be they see you alone and they'll beat the shit out of you. Anyway, and so then also talking about the relation. So I think when I talk about this issue, I only think about it in terms of white women and not like all women. So when I talk about this, that's what I'm thinking of it as, because I think I only really hear white women talk about it in a way of like feeling safe, being attacked, and all that fun stuff. And I'd say everybody, I think it's really dumb to like paint it as just a woman issue, because I think everybody has that fear. Everybody who's not fucking crazy and who wants to take advantage of every little system thing and like will kill you if you don't give them something. I think it's really dumb that society has made it so that talking point of feeling safe is only a woman thing, because it's a male thing too. Who knew? And while some people will say, well, that's not what people are saying, it's not what people are. It's always an afterthought when people bring up, and we know that other people, like men, feel this way. It's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't ever heard anyone actually ever say that when they talk about feeling safe in regards to being themselves as a person. And I'm meaning like they've never referenced like any other group of person in terms of that. And so I always found that interesting. I also find it interesting that like, so I guess also just what sparked this video is the shooting over the summer, and then I guess I wouldn't actually, it's not even self fear mongering because it's the absolute truth. Like, what was it? What is it? October? What was that shit? September? Maybe August? There was a person who was like riding their bike in South Philadelphia, and then at some point a car pulls up, like 4 people get out, shoot the guy, and then they continue shooting the guy as he's still dead on the ground. And then there's like another shooting, and there's not, and it's just like, and it's only one group of people, and they all look like me, so it's pretty evident that. And then also the other thing is that it's also very I think this is more of an all college town thing. Maybe this is the second college town I've seen it really displayed in, but every single homeless person, or a majority of them, or the ones that society would deem disgusting, they're all black. So, and they're always the ones asking for money. And then there's also the thing of, at every single university that I've been to so far, everyone who's serving you food is black too. So it's kind of a weird correlation where, like, if they lose that job, they're probably going to be the ones on the street asking college students for money. Kind of weird, but I don't know. God, what else? Oh fuck. I had a whole, is that French? That's weird. Okay, yeah, what sparked this video is it's been an okay day. It was pretty dumb, but God, what? Oh, I have the Neighbors app or whatever it is. It's essentially like you can see what's going on in your neighborhood and around the city. It's actually pretty neat. And so I actually don't really use the app. I just have it because it was like, sign up for the next 10 days. You won't get to do it again. And I was like, okay, well, I'll sign up. And it's an app that can be used for different things. You can use it for what's going on in your area or in your city. You can use it to, I saw a college student use it to like do a survey with residents in the city. So it's a pretty jackknife, is that what it is? Swiss Army knife, sort of tool app thing. And then also you have the people who post things about like all of the things that just happened. So I guess, I don't know when it happened, but I'm assuming it was relatively recently. Somebody posted a video of 3 men, I guess, approaching another man and then beating that man up and kicking him and shit and then taking his wallet, right? And so, of course, like, I was gonna say, of course it's a city, but at the same time, I think it's just an American thing. Because I don't know if this happens in like a lot of other cities at the rate it does here in the United States. And then also, I watched another video about somebody who went to Australia and talked about like they were contrasting Australian cities and like American cities, and they were like, there are no people screaming on the train or whatever transportation systems over there. And then his overall point was like, America, you don't have to live like this, because he's American. And so anyway, that was just kind of funny. And so that was kind of the overall point of like, it doesn't have to be that way. And so now onto the other part of the video is acknowledging racism and all this other fun stuff. And obviously that's true. That's never going away. That's always going to be a thing. It always was a thing. Gentrification's always been a thing. Will it never not be a thing? Probably not. Especially for like an institution like the one that I go to, because it's like you want to say no gentrification, but then you want people to go to your university. It's also just not one university. There are 2 other universities that are here as well. One of them seems to be having a little bit more trouble with in regards to violence around its campus, and that's Temple. But I don't know. So there seems to be a giant chasm in how people think about, I guess, people, and then different realities for different people. Because obviously my reality is going to be a little bit different than a woman's reality walking whatever street in Philadelphia, right? But I would be more, not hesitant. What would that word be? It would be likely to think that you are probably, especially if you're white, you're probably safer than you are if you're black, only because you kind of goes to the I can't exactly remember the scenario, but essentially the idea is, you look like money, we're not going to touch you, because that would cause heat for us. Maybe it's like an old I don't know what it is, but essentially that's kind of the idea of how people how I believe a lot of the people who commit these crimes kind of think. Obviously they will still do crimes to people regardless of their skin tone, but I think that there's a lot of people who will be more hesitant to do more crime because of your skin tone. And I think people don't acknowledge that fact. In fact, I think people, yeah, they just don't acknowledge it. I think they just kind of, what do? Shit, I don't even know what they do. But yeah, that was one thing. And so yeah, this is kind of how it is. Like it's obvious. Like, you can blame the person, me, for moving here. Like, oh well, you should have known. And like, sure, I was given fair warning by 2 people. Well, they are 2 people. 2 people. And like, some could say that's city life. I'm like, yeah, it's also true. However, I think it's a little bit different for this city because of the historical history of it being relatively close to, I think, what is considered Chocolate City, which is Maryland, or somewhere in Maryland is considered Chocolate City. And then just the history of Philadelphia in general, of it being predominantly black. And then you have the gentrification things, and you have the rise in violence and all the CIA stuff or whatever. Ow, God, my back hurts. And I'd say, yeah, those are cool, and those are great historical reasons to note, but I also don't think that those are the only reasons we should talk about when we bring up violence in a city like this. And I don't think that, like, being poor is also a reason to bring up something like this. I think influence is one. I'm specifically thinking of the Boondocks, and in the show there's Riley, and he's essentially the 8-year-old child who watches all the ghetto TV shows and listens to all the ghetto rappers, and like gets his attitude and charisma from them and thinks like them. And then you have Huey, who is essentially the revolutionary who doesn't watch that stuff, but like knows it exists. Well, maybe he does kind of watch it, but like he tries to influence or teach his brother that like all that stuff is stupid and like they're selling you on something that's not true and real or whatever. But Riley's an 8-year-old and he doesn't get it. And I think he was also an 8-year-old. I don't know if they're twins or one's older than younger, but either way. Yeah, so I see there are a lot of memes or videos now about like people doing YNs and YNs. I don't know what a YN is. I probably should have researched this before I got this video, but essentially I'm assuming they're young niggas, and essentially those are people who are also crash outs, and those are people, there's an actual definition, and I would actually look it up if I had my actual camera, but the battery died, so, you know, we're just gonna look it up this way, and hopefully it actually works. There we go. So a crash out is, no, that's fucking stupid. No, you. Ghetto. No. There we go. So the Urban Dictionary is to go insane or do something stupid, and or do something stupid. And then the example is Jadarius killed somebody for stepping on his shoes, and the person who says, oh, he really crashed out. So it's somebody who like kind of gets mad over like the littlest things. And so I think when we comes to talking about society and how society works and how to build a better society, I think we need to talk about how we like I was gonna say define, but decrease the number of crash outs being born. And before you say, are you talking about being a Hitler? Like, no, I'm talking about, to rephrase it, because you're fucking stupid, to decrease the number of crash outs that society produces. But I think both of them get to the same point. Only if you're really smart. But, so yeah, so essentially, I guess that also just kind of comes with, what is it? Not talking about, but actually influencing and promoting positive policies that decrease that amount of crashing out in people or ghetto attitudes or what have you. But I don't know. It seems to be a giant. I think some people have it right when they talk about like the mayorship or the governorship, like getting people in office who actually care about solving those issues and whatnot. I don't know anything about how certain laws affect people actually doing certain things, because a lot of people say soft on crime policies produce this type of attitude, and I don't know if those people who are doing these things are actually paying attention to the policies being passed, or if they've even been affected by those policies being passed. Maybe they were just born in general, and they grew up in that shit, and then they just do that shit, and then, but they were never caught doing that stuff, and so it's not like they would really know that, oh my god, this law is gonna help me get away with this. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's kind of it. That's all I got in terms of that. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I don't know what else to say or what else to do, but you can let me know if that was dumb, smart, stupid, amazing, not amazing. Yeah, I don't know.